Stop chasing her. Start attracting her. You know the pattern. You text first, you joke, you ask great questions, and the more effort you pour in, the flatter the energy gets. She answers slowly, you speed up. You plan dates, she gets busy. Nights end with a polite hug and a hollow promise. You tell yourself she just needs more proof, so you double down, longer messages, faster replies, bigger gestures. The harder you try, the less you're felt. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Attention that is always available loses value. Women don't fall for pressure, they fall for presence. The guys who keep their center move slower and protect their time create the very tension that makes a woman lean forward. This isn't about being rude or playing games. It's Stoicism in practice, controlling your mind, your pace, and your investment, so your energy reads as grounded, not grasping. In this video, I'll show you the shift. We'll replace neediness with quiet confidence, oversharing with mystery, and constant pursuit with a life she has to earn her way into. You'll get simple protocols for texting, timing, and pacing that keep your attention rare and your frame intact. You'll learn how to speak less and be felt more, so curiosity becomes attraction without you pushing. If you're tired of chasing and ready to be chosen, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Number 1. Stop chasing her. Every man has been there. You meet a woman who catches your attention. She's beautiful, smart, magnetic, and suddenly your calm disappears. You start texting more than you should, checking your phone every few minutes and wondering what she's doing when she doesn't reply right away. You try to keep the connection alive, but what you're really doing is chasing. And the harder you chase, the faster attraction dies. Let's be clear, chasing isn't confidence. It's anxiety disguised as effort. It's that feeling of, if I just show her how much I care, she'll finally see my worth. But that mindset flips the balance immediately. The moment you start chasing, you hand her all the power. You stop being the man she's drawn to and start becoming the man she manages. Take Jason, 51, a real estate agent from Austin. After his divorce, he started dating again and met Anna, 46, a marketing executive. She was charming, elegant, and warm, but busy. Jason was hooked from the first dinner. He began sending long texts every morning, calling in the evening just to check in and rearranging his schedule to match hers. For a few weeks, she responded politely, but gradually her replies grew shorter, her tone cooler. Finally, she stopped making time altogether. Jason's mistake wasn't caring, it was chasing. His energy said, "You're the prize and I'm waiting for you to choose me." But attraction doesn't work that way. Desire flows toward independence, not dependency. When a man's attention is too available, it stops being exciting, it becomes expected. Here's the Stoic truth: you can't control how someone feels about you. You can only control your own actions, your own focus, your own rhythm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the foundation of masculine calm. You don't chase her because you understand that your value isn't proven through pursuit. It's revealed through composure. When you stop chasing, something interesting happens. You regain polarity. She feels space again. The tension returns, the curiosity comes back, and she begins to wonder where your focus went. That's not manipulation, it's balance. The energy between man and woman depends on movement like a tide. If you keep pushing forward, there's no pull left. The solution isn't to ignore her or play cold games. It's to reframe your mindset. Instead of trying to get her focus on being worth choosing, fill your life with things that remind you who you are outside of her: your work, your health, your friends, your purpose. When your life is full, your energy naturally shifts from "please notice me" to "this is who I am." That energy speaks louder than any text ever will. Jason eventually learned that. He stopped checking his phone every hour. He started hitting the gym again, focusing on clients, rebuilding his structure. A month later, Anna texted him first. "Hey, how have you been?" The same woman who once faded away was now curious again. Why? Because he stopped chasing. His silence became magnetic. That's the paradox of desire. When you stop trying to prove your worth, people start to feel it. The chase repels, calm attracts. So, stop running toward her. Stand still, let her feel the shift. When you chase, you lose power. When you pause, you gain presence. And that's where real attraction begins, when your energy tells her, "I want you, but I don't need you." If you've ever been the one chasing only to feel her pull away, leave a quick comment, "I've seen this." Because next we'll talk about why the man who doesn't need her is always the one she wants. Number 2, she wants the man who doesn't need her. Here is the truth most men resist hearing. She does not want to complete you. She wants to join you. She wants to feel a steady life already in motion and an energy that is calm, focused, and purposeful. A man who does not need her is not cold. He is full. His days have rhythm. His attention has weight. When he lets a woman in, it is a choice, not a rescue plan. Neediness is not love. It is pressure. She feels it the moment your mood swings with her replies or your plans collapse when she hesitates. Attention that is always available loses value. Interest that is measured and sincere creates room for curiosity. Curiosity is what turns into desire. The Stoics called this self-command. Seneca wrote, "Brave is free. Freedom here is not living alone. It is living unshaken." You can enjoy someone's presence without surrendering your center. You can give affection without handing over control of your peace. That balance reads as quiet strength, and mature women feel it immediately. Watch how energy changes when you need less. Your messages get shorter and clearer. Your schedule stops bending at every request. You listen more because you are not chasing a reaction. Silence becomes comfortable. You stop trying to steer her feelings and return to the only thing you truly control: your conduct. Epictetus said, "Seek not for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly." Applied to attraction, this means you stop fighting the tide. If she is warm, meet her warmth. If she is distant, give space without drama. Your steadiness becomes the frame the interaction sits inside. Frames are attractive because they remove guesswork. A woman relaxes when your values are clear and your pace is consistent. Practice looks simple. Keep your mornings for your priorities. Reply when you are free, not when you are anxious. Offer plans, then let the answer arrive without follow-up pressure. If she cancels, acknowledge it once and continue with your evening. If she resurfaces, meet her like a man who never left himself. No guilt trip, no performance, just presence. This is not a trick to make anyone chase you. It is a standard for how you live. The man who does not need her does not swing from overgiving to silence. He maintains one signal: "I enjoy you, and I am good either way." That is not arrogance. It is self-respect in practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you embody that line, your conversations feel lighter and your decisions feel cleaner. You stop asking what to say to keep her and start asking who you must be to respect yourself. That shift alone changes how you move, how you speak, and how she feels when she is near you. Remember this: she does not want the man who needs her to feel whole. She wants the man who is already whole and welcomes her into a life with gravity. If you have felt that difference, drop a quick comment that says, "I have felt that." Stay ready, because next we will harness your energy so it starts working for you everywhere, not just in dating. Number 3, control your energy. You can tell a lot about a man by how he manages his energy. Not his words, not his money, not even his looks, his energy. Because energy is what women respond to first, even before logic catches up. When your energy is calm and centered, people feel it. When it's restless and scattered, they feel that too. Every man has moments when his energy slips. You start overthinking, wondering what she meant or why she hasn't replied yet. You scroll through old texts trying to read between the lines. You tell yourself you're being attentive, but what you're really doing is leaking energy. The more you leak, the less magnetic you become. Women feel that lack of control like heat. They might not say it, but they sense it immediately. That's what happened to Stephen, 50, from San Diego. After his divorce, he started seeing Claire, 47, a soft-spoken nurse with a sharp sense of humor. Things went well at first. Steady conversation, mutual respect, real connection. But as Stephen began to like her more, his energy started to shift. He texted more often, worried about her replies, and overanalyzed every delay. Soon his calm presence turned into nervous energy. Claire didn't pull away because she stopped liking him. She pulled away because she felt the tension in him. The truth is, energy doesn't lie. You can say you're fine, you can pretend to be calm, but the body always tells the truth. Your tone changes, your breathing shortens, your messages get longer. That's how neediness sneaks in. It's not always about what you do, but about what your energy says when you do it. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That means your job isn't to control her, it's to control the current running through you. When you hold your energy steady, you hold the frame. You stop reacting and start leading. And that leadership is what the feminine energy naturally leans toward. When Stephen learned this, he changed his rhythm. Instead of staring at his phone waiting for messages, he went back to his routines, early runs, reading, meditation time with his kids. The difference was immediate. He didn't text to get a response anymore. He texted when he had something real to say. Within a week, Claire's energy changed too. She became warmer, more consistent. The calmer he got, the closer she leaned. That's how energy works. It doesn't beg, it attracts. When you control your own state, you silently communicate, "I am stable, I am not moved by small things." And that sense of groundedness is what women crave the most. It's safety without words. You can start practicing this today. The next time you feel that anxious pull to check your phone, pause. Breathe in slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Feel your body settle. That single moment of control tells your nervous system, "We're fine." Over time, those small pauses rebuild your calm, and that calm becomes your edge. When your energy stays steady, you don't chase validation, you invite curiosity. People begin to feel your presence instead of your pressure. That's how quiet confidence is built, not from pretending not to care, but from mastering your internal world. So control your energy before you try to control anything else. Because when you master that, you don't need to prove strength, it radiates from you naturally. If you've ever felt how a shift in your energy changes everything around you, drop a quick comment, "I've seen this." And stay with me, because next we'll talk about the hidden power of mystery and how being a little unpredictable makes her think about you long after you've left. Number 4. Mystery turns her on. Mystery isn't about games. It's about restraint. It's what makes her lean forward instead of pulling away. Most men kill attraction not because they lack charm, but because they explain too much too soon. They talk until there's nothing left to wonder about. But what keeps her mind awake at night isn't what she knows, it's what she can't quite read. A mysterious man isn't hiding. He's simply selective. He doesn't hand over every thought, every feeling, or every story right away. He reveals things slowly, naturally, when the time feels right. That pacing is what builds curiosity. Curiosity is tension, and tension is desire. You don't create mystery by trying to appear distant. You create it by mastering silence, by speaking when you mean something, by showing confidence through action instead of explanation. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's the foundation of masculine mystery: less telling, more showing. When you talk too much, you try to control how you're perceived. But when you speak less, you let her imagination do the work. She begins to fill in the blanks. She wonders where your calm comes from, what your life looks like when she's not around. That quiet wondering is what makes her feel drawn to you. Mystery also comes from balance. You can be warm without being exposed, kind without being predictable. The man who gives space for curiosity never feels rushed to prove himself. He knows his world existed before her and will continue with or without her. That sense of completeness is power. Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. The same applies to connection. When you reveal yourself too quickly, you destroy the slow burn that makes attraction real. Let things unfold naturally. Let her earn pieces of your story over time. The less she knows, the more she feels. This doesn't mean you hide who you are. It means you respect your depth enough not to give it away easily. You let her sense that there's more behind your words, more behind your silence. That's what turns her on. Not mystery for mystery's sake, but the feeling that she's discovering something rare. Remember, a man who lives with purpose will always be a little mysterious. His focus isn't scattered. His energy isn't desperate. He's too busy building his life to narrate every move. Women feel that difference immediately. If you're ready to master that quiet magnetism to become the man who draws attention without chasing it, join the Stoic Brotherhood. It's a private space for men who are serious about strength, calm, and presence. Inside, you'll find deeper Stoic lessons, real tools, and a community that sharpens you every day. The link is below. Mystery is not what you hide, it's what you hold back. The man who can hold back a little, who can let silence speak for him, always leaves her wanting more. If this speaks to you, drop a comment, I understand. Stay close, because what comes next will teach you how showing less makes her feel even more. Number 5. Show less, mean more. Most men think attraction comes from how much they give more texts, more compliments, more attention. But the truth is, the more you give away without intention, the less weight your actions carry. When everything is easy to get, it stops feeling valuable. Show less, mean more is about restoring that value. It's about choosing depth over display, purpose over performance. This lesson hit Daniel, 54, harder than he expected. After years of focusing on his career, he started dating again and met Melissa, 50, an interior designer from Dallas. Their chemistry was instant. He wanted to make her feel special, so he went all in, texting every morning, planning elaborate dinners, surprising her with little gifts. At first, she seemed impressed, but within weeks her tone changed. She grew distant, slower to respond, less engaged. Daniel couldn't understand it. He was doing everything right, wasn't he? What he didn't realize was that his effort had no space to breathe. By showing everything too soon, he left nothing for her to reach for. Every compliment lost meaning because it was always there. Every message blurred into the next. His attention became background noise. When Daniel finally pulled back, something shifted. He stopped texting first. He stopped trying to fill every silence. Instead, he focused on his life again: morning runs, business projects, time with friends. 2 weeks later, Melissa reached out. "Hey, you've been quiet lately." That's when he understood, when you show less, what you do show gains power. Stoicism teaches this principle clearly. Epictetus wrote, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad." In other words, humble your impulses. Don't rush to prove yourself through action. Refine your action until it reflects discipline. Showing less isn't withholding, it's filtering. It's knowing that not every moment needs a reaction, not every feeling needs to be shared. That restraint builds gravity. When you say less, people listen. When you give less, people feel it more. The human mind values contrast. A calm man who speaks rarely commands more respect than one who fills the air with noise. The same applies in attraction. A message sent from focus, not habit, lands differently. A look that lasts 2 seconds too long says more than a dozen compliments. You don't need to prove interest by constant communication. You prove value through consistency. When she sees that your energy doesn't scatter, that you're not desperate for validation, her respect deepens. She feels something many women rarely feel: stability. And stability mixed with subtle tension becomes desire. Marcus Aurelius said, "Let your actions be few, but let them be great." That's how you build masculine weight. Every word, every gesture should mean something. When you give less but make it count, she starts paying attention. Daniel became that kind of man. He didn't withdraw completely. He just acted with purpose. His messages became shorter, warmer, and rarer. When they met, he didn't overcompensate. He was calm, present, and confident. And that's when Melissa leaned in again. So show less, mean more. Let your silence create curiosity. Let your presence speak before your words. Because when you stop trying to impress, everything you do begins to impress naturally. If you've ever seen how doing less makes people feel more, drop a quick comment below. I've seen this. And don't go anywhere, because next we'll talk about the hidden law that makes your attention the rarest and most powerful thing you can offer. Number 6. Your attention is the reward. Most men treat their attention like it's free. They hand it out without thought, hoping generosity will create connection. But attention, when given without restraint, loses its value fast. The truth is simple: what's abundant is ignored, what's rare is desired. Your attention isn't something she should earn through effort, but something she should respect through your standards. When a man gives his attention to everyone and everything, he teaches the world how to treat him. Every random text, reply, every comment on her photo, every check-in, just to stay noticed, it all signals one thing: your focus is easy to buy. And when your focus is cheap, your presence stops feeling special. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That means your attention is your most valuable currency. Where you place it determines not only how others see you, but how you feel about yourself. If your focus is scattered, so is your strength. If your attention is disciplined, your energy becomes magnetic. Women are incredibly attuned to this. They don't just hear your words, they feel where your attention goes. When you give it freely, they sense it's not grounded. But when you're selective, when your focus feels deliberate, it draws them in. Because a man who controls his attention signals power. He's not pulled by impulse, he's guided by choice. This doesn't mean withholding attention to manipulate, it means giving it with intention. You listen when she speaks, but you don't chase for her response. You show care, but you don't beg for it back. You offer time, but only when it aligns with your priorities. Attention is not about volume, it's about weight. A single glance, when it's focused and calm, can mean more than a dozen compliments. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." If you constantly fixate on her, what she's doing, what she's thinking, how she's responding, you lose yourself in the process. You stop being the man she was drawn to and become a shadow of her moods. But when your attention is anchored in your purpose, your peace, your growth, it gains gravity. People feel that. She feels that. So make your attention something rare. Guard it like it matters, because it does. Your focus should be earned by consistency, respect, and shared energy, not by beauty or charm alone. When you give it too easily, you lose both respect and polarity. When you give it intentionally, you create the one thing that drives attraction: tension. A Stoic man doesn't chase validation. He gives attention like he gives trust, slowly, consciously, to those who prove worthy of it. That's not arrogance, that's emotional discipline. And that discipline builds desire, because the more you control where your energy flows, the more people want to be where it's directed. So remember this: Your attention is the reward. It's the reflection of your value, your focus, and your self-respect. Treat it like something sacred. When you do, she'll feel its weight, not because you gave more, but because you gave it with meaning. If you've ever noticed how your energy changes when you focus less on her and more on your purpose, drop a quick comment, "I've felt that." And don't leave yet, because next we'll uncover how calm, when mastered, becomes the most powerful form of confidence a man can project. Number 7. Calm is the new confidence. Confidence used to mean loudness, the man who took up space, who spoke the most, who moved the fastest. But that kind of energy doesn't impress anyone anymore, especially women who've lived long enough to know that noise often hides insecurity. Real confidence isn't about how much you say, it's about how little you need to. Calm is the new confidence. It's the quiet strength that says, "I'm in control, and I don't need to prove it." Take Mark, 53, from Portland. A successful contractor, he'd built a good life after divorce, but struggled in dating. He'd try to charm women with humor and energy, filling every silence with conversation. It wasn't fake, he just wanted to be liked. But the result was always the same. They enjoyed his company but didn't feel that spark. Then he met Andrea, 49, a therapist with a calm presence of her own. During their first dinner, Mark caught himself talking too much. He stopped, smiled, and said, "You know I talk when I'm nervous." Andrea smiled back and said, "You don't have to." That one moment changed everything. Mark realized that calm isn't passive, it's power. The less he tried to perform, the more natural he became. When he stopped filling space, connection grew. Andrea later told him she felt safe around him, not because he was perfect, but because he was steady. That's what calm does. It makes people relax into your energy. Stoicism has taught this for centuries. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's what calm really is. Mastery over reaction. When you stop letting situations, people, or emotions pull you around, you become the anchor in the storm. And women, especially those who've experienced enough chaos, are drawn to that peace, like gravity. Calm doesn't mean emotionless, it means measured. It's being able to sit in silence without anxiety. It's smiling when plans change, breathing, instead of snapping, observing before reacting. Most men think they need to control others to feel strong. Stoicism flips that true strength is controlling yourself first. Mark started practicing this daily. When Andrea didn't text back right away, he didn't spiral. When she cancelled plans, he said, "No problem." The moment he stopped chasing emotional control over her, he gained emotional control over himself. And that shift made him magnetic. He didn't have to act confident, his calm said it for him. Confidence without calm is noise. Calm without confidence is apathy. But when you combine the two, you become something rare, grounded. That's what mature attraction looks like, steady, unforced, real. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary." Most men do exactly that. They suffer from imagined problems, from insecurity about things that haven't even happened yet. Calm ends that suffering. It says, "Whatever happens, I'll handle it." And that mindset changes the way people see you, including women. Mark told me once, when I stopped trying to impress her, she started reaching out more. That's the paradox. Calm isn't the absence of emotion, it's the presence of control. It shows her you're the kind of man who doesn't break under pressure. So remember this, calm doesn't whisper weakness, it whispers certainty. It's the kind of quiet that makes her feel something before she even understands why. If you've ever seen how calm changes the whole energy of a room, leave a comment, "I've seen this." And stay here, because next we'll talk about the magnetic force that distance creates and why stepping back can pull her closer than chasing ever could. Number 8. Distance builds desire. Most men fear distance. They think if they pull back, she'll forget. If they stop texting, she'll move on. But the opposite is true. Desire doesn't grow in constant presence, it grows in space. When you create distance, you create contrast, and contrast is what makes someone notice your absence. The modern dating world has convinced men that consistency means never letting go, always checking in, always responding fast, always being available. But real attraction doesn't come from availability, it comes from scarcity. When something rare disappears for a while, the mind begins to crave it. That's how distance works. It gives her time to miss what's missing. This is not manipulation, it's nature. The Stoics understood this long before dating apps existed. Seneca wrote, "Absence is to love what wind is to fire. It extinguishes the small, it inflames the great." If the connection is weak, distance will kill it. But if it's real, space makes it stronger. Your withdrawal gives both of you a moment to breathe, to remember value, to reset balance. When you're always there, your presence becomes routine, and routine numbs emotion. When you step back even slightly, you reintroduce tension. You remind her that attention from you is not guaranteed, that it's earned through mutual respect and effort. That's the difference between being interesting and being invisible. Distance doesn't mean silence or punishment. It's not about ignoring her to prove a point. It's about being comfortable in your own lane. It's choosing to let your life lead, not your emotions. When you spend time away, you recharge your masculine polarity, the quiet independence that drew her in to begin with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." That's how you handle emotional space. You stay grounded when things go quiet. You don't panic or chase validation. You let her feel your steadiness, your absence of chaos. That calm resistance becomes the thing she thinks about when you're not around. Distance also reveals truth. It shows you who reaches out when you stop initiating. It shows you who values your energy versus who just enjoys the attention. If she never checks in when you pull back, you've learned something valuable. If she does, you've confirmed that the connection was mutual. Either way, you gain clarity. You see, attraction isn't built in endless closeness, it's built in rhythm. There's approach and retreat, warmth and quiet. Too much closeness kills curiosity. Too much distance kills connection. The art is in knowing when to move and when to pause. That rhythm is what keeps energy alive between two people. A Stoic man doesn't fear space. He uses it. He knows that silence isn't emptiness, it's a message. It says, "I'm good where I am. I trust what's meant for me." That's what confidence sounds like without words. And here's the paradox: when you stop trying to hold on, things that are meant for you tend to stay. Not because you demanded it, but because you created room for desire to breathe. So don't fear the distance, respect it. It's not pushing her away, it's letting attraction do its work. Because sometimes silence is louder than 1,000 reassurances. If you've ever seen someone miss you only after you gave them space, drop a comment. I've seen this. And don't go anywhere, because next we'll explore the strength of walking away and why letting go can be the most powerful move you'll ever make. Number 9. Walk away with power. Most men think walking away means losing. They see it as giving up, as if staying no matter what proves loyalty or strength. But the truth is, knowing when to walk away and doing it with calm is one of the most powerful moves a man can make. Because when you can leave without anger, you reclaim something far more important than her attention: your dignity. Let's talk about what that really looks like. Kevin, 56, from Arizona, had been seeing Laura, 51, for nearly a year. Things started well: dinners, laughter, connection. But over time she began to pull away. Fewer messages, cancelled plans. He felt it, but kept pushing, thinking consistency would fix it. When he finally confronted her, she said she wasn't sure what she wanted. That's when Kevin had a choice: chase her into uncertainty or walk away with peace. He chose the second. He didn't send long texts explaining how he felt. He didn't argue or guilt trip her. He simply said, "I respect that. Take care of yourself." Then he left the situation. No drama, no resentment, just clarity. 2 weeks later, she reached out. "I've been thinking about you," she said. But Kevin wasn't waiting. He wasn't trying to teach her a lesson. He had simply accepted what was out of his control, and that acceptance made him stronger. That's the Stoic way. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Walking away isn't an act of defiance. It's an act of control. It's the moment you stop letting someone else decide your worth. You stop chasing closure and start creating peace. A lot of men stay long after respect is gone because they fear emptiness. They think walking away means loneliness. But that space isn't emptiness, it's healing. It's where you rebuild your self-respect and reconnect with your purpose. The man who can stand alone isn't cold, he's free. Kevin told me later that walking away was the hardest thing he'd ever done and the most liberating. He didn't win Laura back, but he won himself. He stopped living for her reactions and started living by his own standards again. That's real power, not control over others, but mastery over yourself. Women can feel that strength. When a man walks away without bitterness, without noise, it changes how she sees him. Because that calm exit says, "I don't need to prove my value, I live it." That kind of energy can't be faked. It's the ultimate expression of confidence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In modern terms, don't mirror disrespect with anger. Walk away instead. Because silence and composure speak louder than arguments ever could. When you can leave a situation peacefully, you show the world that you belong to no one's chaos. You stop reacting to rejection and start responding to reality. You stop needing to win, and that's when you actually do. So remember, walking away doesn't close a door. It opens one, the one that leads back to you. If you've ever had to walk away from someone you cared about, not out of pride, but out of peace, leave a comment, "I've done that." And don't miss what's next. We're about to uncover the final piece of the puzzle, the energy she feels when you're gone, and why sometimes your absence says more than your words ever could. Number 10. Need less, attract more. Needing less isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about building a life so full, so grounded, that you no longer depend on someone else to give it meaning. When you need less, you create space for attraction to grow naturally, not from desperation but from genuine balance. Because here's the truth, neediness doesn't pull people closer, it pushes them away. The modern man is taught to chase approval, to prove his worth through constant effort, instant replies, and endless giving. But women don't fall in love with men who orbit them. They fall for men who stand on their own axis. A man who doesn't need her isn't indifferent. He's stable. He's already complete, and that's what makes him magnetic. Needing less doesn't mean withdrawing affection. It means redirecting energy. Instead of chasing validation, you invest that energy into things that strengthen you, your health, your craft, your peace, your friendships. A man with structure radiates quiet confidence. He doesn't cling because his identity isn't hanging on anyone's response. Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." That's the foundation of masculine calm. When your happiness comes from within, no one can take it away. You can love freely because you're not afraid of loss. You can care deeply without falling apart if it ends. That emotional self-sufficiency is what every woman senses, but few men master. Neediness often comes disguised as love, constant texting seeking reassurance, needing to know where you stand. But under the surface it's fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of losing her. And fear always kills attraction. It turns a strong masculine energy into something soft and uncertain. When you need less, you flip that dynamic. You stop acting from fear and start acting from choice. You no longer ask, "What do I need to do to keep her?" You ask, "Does this connection align with who I am?" That shift changes everything: your tone, your presence, your power. The Stoics would call this inner independence. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom doesn't come from having everything you want. It comes from not being ruled by what you think you can't live without. Once you realize that your peace doesn't depend on her approval, your energy changes. You become lighter, calmer, and far more attractive. You see, needing less doesn't make you distant. It makes you deliberate. You start choosing instead of chasing. You give love, but you don't negotiate your worth. You listen, but you don't lose your voice. You show interest, but you never abandon yourself. That balance creates an energy women feel, instantly, the rare combination of warmth and strength. And the paradox is this: when you no longer need someone to choose you, they usually start wanting to. Because your peace feels like power, your independence feels like mystery, and your self-control feels like safety. The more grounded you become, the more she can relax into your energy. So stop trying to be everything she wants. Start becoming everything you respect. Build your life so completely that anyone who enters it feels lucky, not necessary. That's the essence of needing less and attracting more, not manipulation but mastery. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about effort, it's about energy. And when your energy says, "I want you, but I don't need you," that's when you truly become irresistible. Everything you've heard in this video comes down to one truth: attraction begins when you stop chasing and start mastering yourself. You've learned how calm replaces pressure, how distance builds desire, and how needing less always makes you more magnetic. This is what Stoicism looks like in real life: quiet confidence, emotional control, and strength that doesn't need to shout. If you're ready to live these principles daily, join the Stoic Brotherhood, a private space for men who want to lead with discipline, balance, and purpose. You'll find lessons, challenges, and a community that sharpens your mindset every single day. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Stay grounded, stay focused, and I'll see you tomorrow.